Okay, so let's be real. Generative AI is everywhere in academia now, right? But using it the right way, well, that's a huge challenge for students and for instructors. So let's dive into a whole new way of thinking about how we can work with these amazing, but yeah, sometimes pretty baffling tools. You've probably done this. You type a prompt into an AI and boom, you get back this beautifully written, super confident-sounding answer. But we've got to ask the big question. Is that AI actually a genius that gets the topic, or is it just a really, really good parrot?
Well, it turns out that a lot of the time, the AI is basically just a parrot. And researchers have a fantastic name for this. They call it the Stochastic Parrot problem. This idea is absolutely central. We have to get our heads around this before we can even think about using these tools responsibly.
So what on earth is a stochastic parrot? Well, the formal definition says it's a system that just stitches words together based on probability with zero actual reference to what they mean. Think about that. It doesn't understand anything. It's just an incredibly sophisticated pattern matcher. It's a master of mimicry, not comprehension.
And this is where it gets dangerous. This mimicry leads to this thing called AI-Splaining. The AI can spit out these statements that sound so authoritative, so plausible, but they're just completely wrong. It doesn't know what's true. It just knows which words usually follow other words.
Okay, check this out. This is the problem in a nutshell. A user asks a question in Hebrew and then asks a really simple follow-up. Hey, where'd you get that from? And the AI, well, it can't answer. It basically just shrugs and says it learned from internet culture. I mean, this says it all, right? If the AI can't tell you its sources, how can you ever verify anything it says?
So you can see how this inability to verify anything, combined with the fact that it can just make stuff up, becomes a massive, massive challenge for education, for students, for instructors, for everyone. Let's break down exactly what's at stake here. In the classroom, the problems are very real. The AI's answers can be just plain false. It's going to spit back all the biases from the data it was trained on. And if we rely on it too much, it can stop students from actually learning how to do research and write for themselves. Plus, you've got all the huge questions around academic integrity. The bottom line is, you just can't take what it says at face value.
Okay, this all sounds pretty bleak, I know. It kind of makes you wonder, is this even worth it? It raises the most important question for all of us in education right now. How can we possibly use these incredibly powerful tools without falling into all these traps? There's got to be a better way to approach this, right?
Well, the good news is, there is. And it all comes down to a fundamental shift in how we think. We have to stop treating AI like some magic answer engine. What we need is a whole new framework for AI literacy. And that's exactly what we're going to look at now. And here it is. This is the GEB Framework. Now, it pulls its ideas from a classic mind-bending book called Gödel, Escher, Bach. The whole point is to give us a mental toolkit to help us deal with that stochastic parrot problem. It's built on 3 core pillars that are going to help us engage with AI in a much smarter, more critical way.
So let's break down these 3 pillars. They are metacognition, grounding, and ethics.
First up, we've got metacognition. It's a fancy word, but it just means thinking about the AI's thinking. And the key to doing this is learning how to spot something called a strange loop. You know those MC Escher drawings of staircases that seem to go up and up forever, but somehow you end up right back where you started? That's a perfect example of a strange loop. It's a circular pattern. With AI, this happens when it gets stuck just rephrasing your prompt or its own last answer over and over again, without any real logic moving it forward.
So what does this look like in practice? For students, it's about developing that gut feeling to ask, wait a minute, is this thing actually thinking, or is it just talking in circles? And for instructors, the job is to create assignments that teach students how to spot these loops and not mistake them for actual insight.
All right, pillar number 2 is grounding. This one is all about one thing, connecting the AI's words back to the real world. And the core concept we use to do that is called isomorphism. I know, isomorphism sounds super academic, but the idea is actually really simple. It just means we have to check if there's a real-world connection for the words the AI is using. Is there a clear map between the symbol and a verifiable fact? Because if there isn't, the AI's output is just ungrounded. It's just floating words without meaning, just like a parrot, right?
For students, this means one thing, and it is non-negotiable. Don't trust, verify. Period. Take every single claim the AI makes and go check it. Use your library's databases. Use academic journals. Use real sources.
And for instructors, this means you've got to build that verification step right into your assignments. Make it a required part of the process.
And that brings us to our third and final pillar, ethics. We put this one into practice by learning how to jump out of the system. Jumping out is such a great concept. It means you don't just stay inside the chat window, going back and forth with the AI. You have to step back, get some distance, and look at the whole system from the outside. You start asking bigger questions, not just about one answer, but about the AI itself. In practice, this is where ethics really comes in. For students, it's about asking, what kind of personality is this AI putting on? What biases are baked into it from its training data? Who actually benefits from this technology? And for instructors, it's about sparking those critical conversations about how these systems can amplify biases and social inequalities. So when you put all three of these pillars together, metacognition, grounding, and ethics, something really profound happens. It totally changes your relationship with AI. You stop being just a passive user, and you become something way more powerful, an AI surveyor.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at this difference. You go from being passive to active. Instead of just trusting the output, you're actively testing the system's limits. You stop just asking what, and you start asking how and why. You no longer treat the AI like some magical oracle. You see it for what it is, a formal system with rules and flaws that you can investigate.
And that is the big takeaway here. The GEB framework isn't just a set of rules, it's an empowerment tool. It gives both students and instructors the critical literacy we all need to go from being passive consumers of AI content to becoming active, thoughtful surveyors of this incredibly complex technology. Because look, AI in education is here to stay. That ship has sailed. The question is no longer if we're going to use it, but how we're going to use it. This framework gives us a path to do it right, thoughtfully and ethically. So the final question is really for you. Are you going to be a passive user, or are you ready to become a surveyor?